Okay, now we want to talk about spacing. Giving this its own section because it's so important. In the Houston Electric Football League, the HEFL, one thing that we are big proponents of is a free-flowing game. We don't want the old days where everybody was all just a bunch of guys pushing against in piles. So, commonly referred to as stacking. There's no stacking allowed in this league whatsoever. So, pre-snap again, talking about how they're lined up, you can see that there is, we have that neutral zone. I'll show you that. I'll just slide this between the players. Oops, sorry. A little clumsy on my part. But you can see there's a neutral zone between the players, right? There's nobody there. So they're out the neutral zone. The defense has to be a yard off. Nobody else is in the neutral zone other than the center, who is this player. Let me fix that. So, okay, let me fix that correctly. All right, so the center is the only one in the neutral zone. The other players are off. The only other players that are allowed to be up on the line of scrimmage are the two end receivers. In this case, the tight end. Now I'll just angle this tight end before the snap like that. And we have this wide receiver, right? 7 men on line of scrimmage. Now, another thing I want you to note is that if you look, I'm going to zoom in some more. If you look between those players, you can see there's space. This stick I'm using here is about a half a base width. And you have to have that space between the players. You cannot do this. This is illegal formation. You'll get penalized. If you line your guys up like that, if the ref throws a flag, that'll be a legal procedure, 5-yard penalty, and you'll be backing up. So do not line up correctly. Do not bunch your guys up. The arms should not be interlocking. They should not be like that. They should be space. Okay? The bases, there should be spaces between these bases. Another thing I want to show is, I'll pull out a little bit, the defense. You can see how the defense is lined up. There's no stacking. In the old days, we used to do this, this. This is how we played electric football, right? We just, the offense would have done this. It looks something like that. I've seen some guys do this. That looks crazy to me. Let's put it in there. Guys do stuff like that. We don't do that. So you have to have space. So let me put everyone back. In this case, we got this defense in standard 4-3. Three linebackers, 4 down linemen. Can't stack on offense, you can't stack the guys like this. Not within, they have to be, you can do it if they're 5. This is the line of scrimmage here at the 25. If they were 5 yards back, you could do it. At least, well, actually, on most boards, on this board it's about 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. But we'll say 3 yards, the standard rule is 3 yards from the nearest player. On these big boards, that winds up being about 2. It's really a base length. When you hear me say 3 yards, I'm really referring to about a base length. But on these boards, the base is about 2 yards. This is a big, large board. On the standard board, it'll be about 3 yards back. So remember, the quarterback couldn't be going forward because it's 1st and 10. So we're going to have the quarterback rolling out. So I want to again talk about spacing. Now there is one thing that is allowed. If you put a player right over center, you are allowed to put a defender behind that player to get a push. That's actually a rule that's in place for quarterback sneaks, because sometimes it may be 3rd and 2 or less, maybe 3rd and goal from the 1-2 yard line, 4th and goal. You can always, regardless of the situation actually, you can always stack right over the center. So you can always have one guy over the center. I would not advise that because the next section we're going to talk about will be offensive backfield movement and defensive zone movement. There's a reason why if you do that too often, that will backfire on you. But we'll talk about that next.